present here. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the Entrepreneurs Day, organized by the Entrepreneurship Cell of RV College of Engineering. Today, we come together to acknowledge the power of innovation, the pursuit of ideas, and the enduring spirit of entrepreneurship that drives meaningful change. The Entrepreneurship Cell of RVCE is a dynamic, student-led organization committed to cultivating creativity, leadership, and entrepreneurial thinking. It serves as a platform where students learn to transform concepts into tangible outcomes, developing essential skills that prepare them to navigate and contribute to an evolving business landscape. ECEL continues to play a vital role in shaping young innovators who aspire to lead with purpose and vision. We are privileged to host Ms. Sayani Bhaumik, an accomplished entrepreneur, venture capitalist, and mentor with extensive experience in the startup ecosystem. Her work in building and nurturing ventures reflects the essence of entrepreneurship: perseverance, innovation, and impact. I now invite Ms. Sayani Bhaumik to address the gathering and share her perspective on entrepreneurship and innovation.
So I was called on a very short notice and I had to just recall my entire life. So I just put it on a note so that I don't forget anything while I speak, and I hope that's all right with all of you. So who am I? I am Shiny Bhaumik. I was a young entrepreneur in the startup ecosystem space. I started at the age of 17 and then built my own startup. And from there, I went on to work for certain prominent companies in the fintech space. My proper background is finance, and then I went into venture capital. So I have worked with some of the most prominent accelerators in the world, including Techstars in the US, Startup Bootcamp in Europe, and I have also mentored startup from Founder Institute. So yeah, that's my intro. And well, when I was in college, if somebody told me that I would be standing here giving a speech on National Entrepreneurship Day, I would have laughed at them and myself. But here I am, and life is crazy, I think. So when I was growing up, I was a very confused teenager and an exceptionally flawed person. I never really understood or rather liked the idea of conventional way of life. In Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, they have this dialogue ki 25 tak job, I think 22 tak padhai, 25 pe job, 26 pe chokri, 30 pe naukri, something like that. And it just never resonated with me. So when I was 17, most of my friends were preparing for IITs, NITs, and NEET exams. And there I was starting my first company. If I'm being honest with you, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no clue at all. But all I knew was this constant feeling that I was somehow running out of time. And mind you, that I was still 17. I had an entire life ahead of me, but I still thought that somehow I was running out of time. My biggest inspiration back then was a person called Ritesh Agarwal. I'm sure everybody knows who he is. He's the founder of OYO. And he started at 17 and became the second youngest self-made billionaire by 26. So my aim back then was just to beat him. That was the entire agenda, that I will also become a billionaire by 25. My goal was very simple: have it all figured out by 25. Well, I am 25 right now. Do you think I'm a billionaire? I think we all know the answer to that. So let's not go there. But was it all in vain? Absolutely not. At 17, I started up. By 20, I took an exit. I made some money on the way. I made some money for my shareholders. And I most importantly, I gained access to opportunities, and some doors opened for me, which would otherwise have taken me at least 3 degrees, a decade of experience, and loads of luck. I suddenly found myself at the table with MIT, Harvard, and Wharton graduates. I was passionate about finance, so I got to learn it from some of the sharpest minds on Wall Street. A director at JP Morgan even became my mentor. Can you believe that? I was no one, I was 21. I had no degree, I just graduated from high school, that was my highest qualification. It was a whole new world, and I didn't know that it even existed for me. So it all happened only because I took a leap of faith and followed the path that felt right for me, just for me. Didn't have to make sense to anyone else. So all these sounds amazing, right? All dreamy. But unfortunately, that's just one side of the coin. The story might sound dreamy, but I'm not here to sell you any dreams today. Because life is a lot more like the pursuit of happiness than the Wolf of Wall Street. Though we tend to get inspired by the latter, but that's fiction. I edited the story for you and only shared the good parts. I left out the part where I was thrown out of meeting rooms because I didn't have a degree to prove my worth. The insecurity I had that all my friends were going to IIT, and I didn't know what I was going to do if it failed. I left the part where I lost most of my friends because I chose a different path and they just didn't want to be associated with me. Or at least their parents said that to me. So I am not sure what happened. I left out the part where I fell into depression, unable to handle the pressure that came with running a business at such a young age. I think even today a lot of you guys must be very much excited with the idea of business, but trust me, doing a job, getting educated is much easier. No one talks about that. No one tells you the level of strength you require to live a life outside the crowd. The constant gaze, the urge to fit in, and unable to do so all the time. You're always different. The sense of disappointment in the eyes of the people you once looked up to. Who were your inspiration? It could be your father, it could be your mother, it could be a teacher. They always sense disappointment in the path that you chose. The constant agony that tears you up from inside and transform you into a different person who is much ahead of their time. And sometimes you look in the mirror and you just can't recognize yourself. Now, boy, is that scary. It is. But is the good part dreamy and give you an edge in life? It does. So the question is, do I regret it at all? Any part of it? The answer is not a single moment. If I had to live it all over again, I would. Every part of that journey was worth it. But could it have been better? That I think it surely would have. I'm a startup mentor. I work with some of the biggest accelerators and VCs in the world. I've spoken to more than 1,000 founders at different stages of their career. And I think we all were on the same page about one single thing. And that is, we wish someone had prepared us for what was coming. Our education system, the kind of society we live in, doesn't really prepare us for that. Prepare us to take charge of our life. We are always told to follow a path which is well defined for us. Now, when you are away from that, when you take a path away from that, nobody prepares you how to handle that. So we just wish that somebody prepared us for that. So when I was your age, I wish someone had told me that, so I was into startups, right? I was always into startups. So something which I wish somebody had told me, that idea doesn't make a startup. And it doesn't. I'm not even saying it just to inspire you guys right now. When we do the calculations in private equity or venture capital, when the funding happens at idea stage, it doesn't happen on the idea, it happens on the founder. people invest in the founders. Ideas pivot all the time. In fact, ideas pivot every investor meeting. You go, you talk, they want something, you want the money, whatever they want, you go with that. Every company has pivoted since the time they started. So idea does not make a startup. So don't wait for the idea. It doesn't work that way. So I wish somebody had told me that, because I thought that I had the multi-billion-dollar idea and I just pursued that. I wish that somebody told me that you could just open a stationery shop and it could still be a startup, and you could just go ahead with that. Then there is another thing which people sometimes come and you must have heard it in interviews, that the team and execution, it matters a lot in a startup. It does, but it makes up for a very, very small part. Like, idea is negligible, but team and execution, it makes up for a very small part. There are, I think, only 2 qualities that truly makes an entrepreneur. First is tolerance. Huge amount of tolerance. People who will be less qualified than you, who wouldn't understand the industry the way you do, who wouldn't understand the value of the degree that you are trying to pursue, who wouldn't understand the passion that you have for something, and they will always look down upon you. But having the tolerance to take that and still move on. Second, I think, is persistence. After millions and millions of rejections, when you show up again, that's when the magic happens. My inspiration, Ritesh Agarwal, once said this in an interview, that people thought that he got lucky because he got funded at the age of 17, which was quite crazy for that time, and he made the headlines. And when he was, I think, 22 or 23, somebody asked him that you became lucky. So he said that I did become lucky, but I think if you show up again and again, the chances of you becoming lucky increases. It's all about probability. The more you show up, the more the number of occurrences, it is more likely that you will win. So if you have these 2 qualities, no one can stop you from achieving whatever you want. Being young and ambitious is a beautiful thing. And trust me, this time will never come back. So once you grow up, you will have a lot more reasoning inside your head, which you don't have today. But it also means that you have to prove yourself again and again, because there will be people out there who still thinks you are a kid. If you lose your cool, they'll call you immature. If you give up, they'll call you impatient and restless. And by God forbid, if you fail once, they'll say, I told you so. You shouldn't have done that. So don't give them that chance. Be persistent and be tolerant, because that's what will separate you from the crowd. Now, I have been to RVCE before, and I know and I've seen that how this place is full of brilliant and entrepreneurial minds. So some of you will go to build amazing startups, some will take jobs, some will prep for higher education, and some will follow creative passions. But whatever you do, remember this: entrepreneurship is not just about starting a company. It's a very incorrect way of seeing entrepreneurship. You can be an entrepreneur in your job. You can be an entrepreneur the way you think and strategize to prepare for your exams. You can be an entrepreneur when you make your passion your business. It can be dancing, singing, or whatever passion you want to pursue. It's about taking ownership of your life, your work, and your future. It's about solving problems that matters to you. It's about the courage to stay on your path even nobody else understands it. So today, on the occasion of National Entrepreneurship Day, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this entire Gyan session, and I would want you to take this, and I will repeat: if you have tolerance and persistence, no one, and I mean no one in this entire universe, can take away from what you want to achieve in life. So, cheers to all your dreams. Thank you.
So before we start anything, okay, when it's about startup, let's take it little energetic, okay. We all are here to learn about how startup works and everything. But behind everyone's mind, the first thing that comes about startup is money, right? So basically we think about startup as passion versus profit when it comes to a founder's mind.
Right.
So being a bit busy, if tomorrow you had to start again from zero, okay, no funds, no contacts, what's gonna be your first thing to earn your first dollar and take it further, and which sector you got target and how?
I think we live in a country where wave of sector is overhyped. There's AI hype, then there's fintech hype, then there's edtech hype. It's a more of a VC term than it is in reality. We live in a country where you do not need to acquire the entire market. You need to acquire just 2% of the entire population to become a unicorn, right? So any business in any sector can do really well. So I would say that I would choose a sector where I can stick for a long time. As I said, consistency is everything. You have to show up again and again. So I have to like what I'm doing up to a certain extent. It doesn't always have to be like a passion project, but at least I have to like it enough so that I show up. So I always liked food, something related to food. Yes, I think if I were to do something, I would start that way. And without funding, I will see the lowest hanging fruit there is. Like, what is the easiest way to start it? Because getting funded is not that easy. As I said, it's not just an idea, it's all in your head. So even if I have, say, like a small proof of concept of what I am doing, I can have a cloud kitchen at home. I can start from there. It doesn't require a lot of money to start. It takes like 5,000 rupees to get the license and everything. I'll start from there, make some revenue, make myself sustainable, and also understand like what exactly the kind of, like what the market is like, you know, what kind of food do people like, and maybe streamline my menu with like 5 odd items, and then go and say that this is the data and I need to scale this, so I need funding. I think that is a more probable way to get funding than get money in any term than to just go with an idea in any stage.
Being a college student, like we all are college students right now, okay, and we need a side hustle to earn money.
Yes.
What will be your advice on that?
Work on your personal brand. Create a niche. Work on your personal brand. It goes a long way. It takes time to build it. So this is the best time to build it. You don't have any external pressure exactly. So whatever you like or whatever you want to pursue exactly. Let's say I always wanted to pursue, so I wanted to go and study diplomacy, okay, in Europe. And there are many like super small, just a bunch of colleges, and they are very selective. So I needed to stand out. So that's why I started writing articles about diplomacy. Whatever I understood, whatever I studied, I just put it in online. And I think that, that could be a way to start. Work on your personal brand, and you will get a lot of leads. You can easily earn enough which can cross any fresher's salary in college. Or you can start with any traditional kind of a business like, I don't know, like food delivery in colleges or something like that. And by the time you graduate, you will be one of the richest person in college to graduate. So I think, yeah, making money is not that difficult in today's time, don't worry. Don't go for that title, don't go for that, you need just 5 people to pay you enough, right? So something like that.
So coming about passion and potential, everyone here is passionate about something and they have the potential, but they're scared to start. The initial acceleration is what scares most of the people, myself included. So what is the bitter truth you would want to tell? Like, what's the bitter truth and the beautiful truth?
You start after overthinking, and you start without thinking, it's going to be the same effort. It's going to be the same struggle. So you start today, it's going to be the same amount of hurdles that you have to cross. You start after overthinking, after like I don't know, 5 months, the amount of hurdles are going to be the same. You're not running out of time. Nobody is taking your market share. Nobody is going to be your competitor. Don't worry about it. The world economy is not designed to have a monopoly. If there is, another competitor will come. Until and unless it's government, there is not going to be a monopoly. So it's always better to be in an industry where there is enough crowd. It validates your idea also. So whatever it is that you are passionate about, just think that you start today, you'll reach faster. You start after 5 months, after a lot of overthinking, you'll reach later. That's all.
Also, ma'am, startups are being promoted everywhere, like from the government, from the colleges and everywhere. Everyone has an idea that if I do a startup, I can be something. But what about the people who want to go for a 9 to 5 job? Maybe because of pressure or I don't know, any other problems they have in their life. So is a 9 to 5 really that bad? Or why is it that
No, it's not.
encouraging?
So I think in any society, you know, when there is change, I think we always tend to go to one extreme first. Let's say feminism also, right? It goes to one extreme. It will go to one extreme first. There will be certain people who will misuse this entire concept, entire idea. There are certain people who are trying to fight for it, but there are certain people who will misuse it also. So this happens. This is nature. This is how checks and balances happens in nature. So similarly, when the entire world is going towards this idea of startups and basically promoting business in a country like us, so there will be a little bit of what do you say? Like there will be a negative part of it as well. Like as you said, that there is always a peer pressure that you have to start something of your own, or else you are, or always 9 to 5 is very much you know, people just it's always looked down upon. So, but it's a time. It's a matter of time. I think eventually things will get better. Secondly, 9 to 5 is one of the most safest thing to do, and some people are really good at it, you know. So I think ultimately think with the first principle philosophy, what you are actually generally good at. Like I said, startup is, it looks good from outside, looks so dreamy, but the amount of tolerance, the amount of persistence, and amount of mental strength you require to withstand that journey, like in a job, the amount of ups and downs, the amount of volatility you will have in a year, it is basically, you will feel that same amount of intensity within a week in a startup, right? So you should have the capacity to actually take it in. Some people just work better in a structured environment, like corporate.
Organized.
In an organized environment. That is how they function. They like that. They don't like being messy all the time. So I think they work better. I mean, one of my biggest female inspirations in life is Indra Nui. She was the CEO for 12 years of PepsiCo. She's of Indian origin. She went to US and she did so many things, and she is one of the biggest leaders in the world. She was a corporate employee. She never had a startup, but she is much more qualified than an average startup founder, right? So yeah, I think.
Do you think it's easier to make a name right now being a part of both the journeys?
What about?
Like, right now, when you said, when we talk about fame in this generation, people run towards fame, getting a popularity and everything. Do you think it has a collaboration between a 9 to 5 job and a startup job and a solopreneur like on Instagram and YouTube? Do you think it has the same benchmark? Like you can be solopreneur as well as the corporate person at the same time and being your own personal brand?
If you have the capacity to do 2 jobs, then definitely go for it. I mean, there are many people who does that. But if you prioritize, let's say, your personal life, you only do your job for the sake of money, and then you come home and you would like to enjoy the money that you have earned. So if that's your entire agenda, then definitely go for it. But if you think, no, fame is the only thing that I want in life and that is like very important to me, then definitely going through a personal brand, working on your channel, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever, absolutely makes sense. If you want, say, like you want to financial freedom with geographical freedom as well, like you want to travel and also work at the same time. I mean, yeah, why not? But again, it's not always dreamy. As I said, there are people who does that and they also come and say that we would love a stable life. They would like a routine in their life. They would like to have a routine for their body, for their mind, for their food or everything like that. So if you are somebody who can live on the road, sure, why not? So there's no right or wrong answer to it. It just have to make sense to you and to your hunger.
Fair.
Yeah.
So ma'am, you have worn your hat as a VC, as a mentor, as a founder itself. Okay. So what is the most crucial difference you have seen in someone with a great idea and someone who is a successful founder?
Successful founders are not attached to their companies. I think that's what I have seen and understood really well. They can sell their company at any moment.
But we have been told that you have to love your company.
No. You have to love the work that you're doing, love the journey. I think, like I said, you have to show up again and again. So you have to you can only show up at a very volatile situation in your life, like something really bad had happened in your personal life, right? But you still have to show up next day. So you can only do that when you like that thing that you're doing. But overall, I think from a business point of view, you need to detach yourself also. You cannot just make it your identity that if it goes down, you go down with it. It doesn't work that way. You have worked enough to bring it to a certain point, but after a certain point, it's not really in your control. It's the luck, it's the market, it's the funding, it's a lot of things that there are many external factors that actually makes it successful. I mean, I think Ravinder Baiju is a very, very good founder, but it's just that something went wrong and the entire industry collapsed, right? But he took a company from ground up and made it a unicorn. So I think he has capability to become, like, he is a very good founder. So similarly, like, but if Baiju's went down, it doesn't really make him any less of a founder. He traveled that journey. Yes, he can start again. So I think every startup founder who is successful, this is the very big thing which I've realized, that they detach themselves. They don't attach their identity with the company that they are building.
So when you're investing into a person or a company,
Yeah.
apart from looking at their numbers, scale and skills, what are the ethics that you look for in them?
Ethics.
Or characteristic or associated to their personality? Or how
I think I have always personally liked people who come with a reasoning for their ambitions, like regarding that company. Like there has to be enough reason to make sense that why it will be this big or why this will make sense. There are certain people who just think that I believe in it. I just do. I mean, that is not quantifiable. Because if I invest in you, I also need enough quantifiable metrics to justify to the people I am answerable to. So, and also like, if it is, like I'm sure you guys are all engineering students, so you will understand that if the outcome needs to change, then you just need to tweak some variables, right? If it is quantifiable, then you can do that. But based on instinct, how do I do that? Right now your instinct is saying something, tomorrow it will say something else. But though I get it, as a founder I get it, but as an investor, I just don't prefer it. Yeah, that's...
So on an end note, let's say, me as a student, I'm also into startup and everything. And among all these people who are sitting here, people will be there who want to start a journey with themselves, want to build a company. What will be your last piece of advice for them when they go away from here?
They would like to build a company. I don't know. Again, having the mental strength, I think, is the biggest important. And being true to yourself. Like, if you think it is too much, your life is more important than a company. You know, there are many people who just goes into that rabbit hole and they never come back. There are many founders I know. They just lose confidence on themselves. I mean, I know a person who has been a very senior person in Paytm. He was one of the founding teams. And he worked there for around 6 years. Then he started a company. And then it didn't work out. And then after that, he got demoted in Paytm. He went back for the same profile, but he got demoted because he was not able to take the pressure of his own job now. which he was already doing for 6 years. You know, because he lost confidence on himself, he lost confidence on the entire thing. So I think he took it too far. So just be true to yourself, that it's totally fine if you're not able to do it, if you're not able to take that pressure. Again, as I said, you are more important. Your life, there are people around you who love you way too much. And if you do harm to yourself, then they are going to be, they are the one who will suffer really. You are not going to suffer because you wouldn't even understand. So I don't think it's fair to them. It's fair to them, it's fair to you also. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
That's it? Okay, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Raise your hand.
You guys can.
I have a question.
Yes.
Student has a question.
How would you start brainstorming for a startup idea if you know which sector you're interested in?
I'll do bottom-up approach. So I will first go and say whatever idea I have, I'll back calculate it. Say for example, I want to have an unicorn in the edtech space. Let's say for fintech space. So I will first go and understand the regulatory part of it. I think that's the biggest hurdle in a fintech space, right? So I'll first understand the regulatory part of it, and I will go so deep in it that I will know that if say tomorrow SEBI says something, I know how it is going to impact the kind of business that I'm going to build. And from there I'll start building that what are the favorable business ideas when it comes to regulations. Let's say insurance is one of those. Doesn't fall under a lot of regulation. So I'll start with that, so that it starts off easy. And then maybe add on complications. I'll go into wealth management, I'll go into stock brokerage, or I'll go into lending and all of those things. So, yeah.
Okay, is it wise to put a subject in the curriculum regarding entrepreneurship?
100%, sir. But I also believe that it's not something that could be taught. I mean, there are some fundamentals which can be taught, like certain terminologies which can be taught, so that when they go out in the world, they can understand those things. But overall, if the curriculum has like one section of it entirely based on, let's say, some project which requires them to build a company or get some revenue, something like that, like 2% revenue of the entire cost that you are taking to build the company, something like that. If there is like some metric around it, I think that will teach them more than the theoretical part of it.
Anyone else?
No other questions, I think.
We extend a sincere gratitude to Ms. Shaini Bhumik for taking the time to share such meaningful thoughts, and to Satyam and Yukta for conducting the session so gracefully. I would now like to invite Rajkumar sir to present a token of gratitude as a gesture of appreciation for your time and presence today.
Thank you so much. That's all.
With that, we conclude this session. A sincere thanks to our guests, faculty members and everyone in attendance for being part of this occasion. May we continue to embrace the spirit of entrepreneurship, to think fearlessly, act purposefully, and build a future defined by innovation and impact. Thank you.